This is the fiber splicer right here. The tray that is open is where you'll insert the cleaved fiber for it to be fused together. Right above it is what we call the oven. That's where you'll place the heat shrink so it'll shrink over the fiber splice. And then right above that is the tray to cool down. This is the cleaver, the bread and butter of the fiber splicer. If you don't have a good cleave, you don't have a good splice. This is the heat shrink I was talking about that goes in the oven. These are your shears used to cut the angel hair and fiber, and these are your 3 holes. Each one of those holes plays a particular role, and you will use all of them. And then of course the alcohol pad. You always want to use alcohol to clean the fiber. Never use your hands or your shirt, it'll only collect dirt and dust on it. This is fiber straight off of the roll. You're going to use the first hole, which is the biggest hole, to slip back the jacket. Once you slip back the jacket, you'll see angel hairs and the fiber is exposed. The fiber line still has another coating over it. Cut the angel hairs off to get them out of your way. Make sure you have your heat shrink tube. You have to have this on every single splice. For one, so it stays protected and it doesn't break. Slip over the heat shrink onto the fiber. Now we're going to use the second hole to strip back this coating that is surrounding the fiber. Whenever you do this, press down all the way, do a complete press, and then a quick tug to rip the jacket off. Now you have exposed fiber. There is still one more coating that is on this fiber. You will use the last hole. At times you may have to bend your tool, but you'll see the coating come off right here. On this next part, this is where you'll use the alcohol wipe. Never use your shirt, don't use your finger, it'll only collect dirt and dust. Do a clean wipe to get all of that extra stuff off there. Next, we're going to use the cleaver. You're going to insert the fiber into the exact slot that matches the size of the fiber. Make sure you always strip off about 1 inch so it goes all the way across the cleaver. Make sure while you're doing this, you have it at the right spot and the right slot. This is what will create a good cleave. With both brackets placed down, all you have to do is do a quick push and it cuts it to the exact spot. Make sure when you pull this out, you don't bump it, rub it, or tip it on anything, because that's what's going to damage your perfect cleave. Make sure when you put this in the fiber splicer, you're not bumping it on anything or tipping it on anything. You want that perfect cleave to stay like that. You're going to push it in about that much, right before the 2 needles that are going to fuse it together. And this is how it's going to look on both sides. You'll do the same thing for each side. It doesn't matter where the heat shrink is placed, but I would have it up close so it's easier to access whenever the fiber splicer does its job. Once you have it where you want it, close the lid and the process will start automatically. It will pull it in just like this, do a quick test, and then start the splicing. Once it splices and fuses together, it's going to pop up with a dB loss. You want this 0.00, meaning a perfect splice. Once the splice is complete, you'll open up both of these handles very gently. Slide your heat shrink up, make sure it's right there as far as you can get it. You're going to open one handle at a time while holding your fiber so it doesn't pop up and break. Now that you have it, you can slide the heat shrink over the splice. Make sure it is right there in the middle. On this next part, we're going to put it into the oven so that heat shrink will fully seal over the splice that we just created. You still need to be cautious and gentle with the splice after it heat shrinks, but you do have some flexibility. I have my heat shrink timer set at 12 seconds. There is different timer selections for each splicer. After the timer goes off, you're ready to pull it out and insert it into the cooling tray. Be sure to let it cool down. That oven got pretty hot.